All right, let's talk about the playoff-bound Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, this was an offensive struggle, and this is going to be a video on the offense. So, perhaps a video on the defense would have made more sense, but you know what? To me, I already kind of had the idea of making a video on the offense heading into this game, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff with the Buccaneers offense, why it went wrong in so many ways, but why it ultimately worked out okay. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Also, just a quick plug, I will have my kind of general thoughts reaction video coming up just in a bit right after I upload this one. Let's start off with this play. So this is going to be the situation. It's a cover 2 zone that the Panthers are currently in, but they're selling as though it's something else. You see how many Panthers players are on the line, so you don't know exactly what it is right now if you're Baker. But for Tampa Bay, they actually have a pretty good concept to beat what this coverage is eventually going to be. First, what you're going to do is have a receiver, I believe that's Trey Palmer, run over the middle. And what this can do is get the safety who's covering the bottom half of the screen to move closer towards that route. So when Evans runs a deep shot, potentially there could be nobody there. You don't know if that's going to happen, but there's the opportunity of that happening. Baker Mayfield takes the snap. He, eventually finds Evans. He has a clean pocket. He fires it in this direction. And you see this is really about to get wide open, because while there is a safety in that area, he has a lot of room where he has to, a lot of ground to cover. You might be thinking, well, this is kind of a long throw, but keep in mind, this is Baker Mayfield, who really has a cannon. I mean, the guy can push it really far down the field. He was standing at his own 30. He could possibly get this one to the 10-yard line, maybe even further. So he has this arm strength to get it down there. This ball is just underthrown. It was tipped, so that wasn't, kind of looked like a drop maybe by Evans, but it was not. It was a tipped pass, and maybe Evans would have still, got his hand on it, but when it's tipped right before you get your hands on it, your hands aren't in the position you want them to be to catch the football. It's a missed throw from Baker, and this play was kind of, he had a couple of tough plays earlier as well, and it kind of made you realize, I don't know if Baker is typical Baker Mayfield right now. I don't know if he's 100%, and, we remember with Cleveland that he's someone who will play through injury, even if it's sometimes to the detriment of his team, even. Well, on this play, a good throw would have gotten him a touchdown. They weren't able to make it happen. But also, there were some bad decisions that they got very lucky with. Baker had 3 turnover-worthy plays in the first half that were not turnovers. This one being probably the most obvious one. We're just going to try to hit a tight end underneath in zone coverage right here. That's all you're trying to do. This is Cade Otton, the tight end, and again, usually the way this route works is that if linebackers move in and cover up Otton, then something further down the field will be available. Watch as when Mayfield takes the snap, he looks, and there is you can see why Baker Mayfield wants to make this throw, I suppose. But when he does, a linebacker steps in front of it. That really probably should have been intercepted, and honestly could have been even more than just an interception there. Could have gotten them, at least in field goal range potentially. I don't know. Maybe he gets tackled right away, but they would have had an opportunity that they did not get due to the drop there. And it was something that it was something that happened. Like, stuff like this is another thing that of why certain things weren't working in the passing game, of trying to fit the ball through tight windows. Something like this, it's a zone coverage play. You see the route that Baker Mayfield wants to hit. And again, on paper, you can see why this could work. Mayfield takes the snap, and he's going to try to fire it through the tight window, but it's a good defensive play to knock that football away. Again, people are going to say, oh, Panthers are terrible, Panthers are bad. Well, I don't know. Deion Jones made a good play on that one. Like, what are you going to do? Actually, that might have been Frankie Louvu. Either way, both linebackers there were playing well. So it's like, sometimes, there's good players on bad teams. That's what was happening there at times with Carolina. Kind of finally, midway through the second quarter, Tampa Bay really woke up and said, why don't we just start running the ball? Which is kind of crazy to think about, given the fact that Tampa Bay loves to run the ball. Like, they've ran the ball, just last week against the Saints, they ran the ball way too much, and I'm wondering if that's part of why they came in with such a pass-heavy game plan. But in this game, when, you see Panthers are playing 2 safety deep, Baker Mayfield's not 100%, pounding the rock seems to be a pretty good philosophy here. As you see, this rush it's going to do a good job. It's not nothing crazy, but hey, gaining 9 yards is gaining 9 yards, and being able to, get a drive going, get some points on the board. This led to a field goal drive. Like, you'll take that for sure, especially in a game like this. Also, this play I have to criticize. So the situation is the issue here. So I just said, well, hey, running the ball is a good idea. Well, In this situation, it's 1st down and 10 right here, but you only have 19 seconds left and just one timeout. If you had a couple timeouts, it might be different. Here's what I think Tampa Bay is doing. They know to have a kicker with a big leg. Maybe their mindset is just, you know what? Let's run the ball. Let's try and gain some yards. Hopefully we can gain 5 to 8 yards here, and then we'll, go to 3 seconds, take a timeout, and then kick a long field goal. I'm assuming that's what they wanted to do. It is worth noting Chase Edmonds is in the game, which I'm not sure if that's exactly when you want to do this, but that's what they're doing. However, after bat, this gets blown up by Brown, and Edmonds tries to get things to the outside, which ends up costing them 7 yards, which I'm sorry, that's just a mistake by Chase Edmonds and a mistake by Tampa Bay in general. I don't think you had to run the football there. I don't agree with that decision. But also, you got to make sure that your players know the situation. If you really are just trying to run the football and, make it an easier field goal attempt, well, then your player has to know you can't lose 7 yards on the play. You have to make sure that you just, if the play's blown up, you just fall forward, lose a yard, and then you're okay. Edmonds made the 57-yard field goal. It worked out, but it's not a good decision. And then I thought this play was just huge in this game. It's still a one-score game. And let's be honest, Bucs fans, we're all sitting here saying, you just know the Panthers are going to make one play. All they need is one play, get a touchdown, and they can take the lead. So as good as the defense has looked up into this point, you want to make it a 2-score game. And here for Carolina, again, big spot, 3rd down and 5, close to midfield. I don't think Tampa Bay would go for it in this situation. And you see what I've shown for Carolina. They're showing as though they're blitzing, which could mean potentially, if this is man coverage, maybe Mayfield could run with the football. Pre-snap, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe Mayfield could run here. Mayfield takes the snap, and they actually drop back into zone, but Mayfield has more pressing matters at the time. Derek Brown is right in his face, as he kind of was throughout this game. Let's just be honest, the Buccaneers' interior offensive line, not spectacular. Gadecki and Wirfs have been, Wirfs have been amazing. Gadecki's been really good this year as a tackle position. Inside, not so much. Quite frankly, Mock, the guy who they drafted, been one of PFF's lowest graded guards on the season. He was not doing well against Derek Brown. Let's just put it that way. In this spot, Baker's in trouble, but he might have room if he can just get past Brown. Mayfield does just get past Brown, but Brown slows him down. And actually, again, this just goes to show you how insane athletes some of these defensive linemen are. You see, he's now trying to chase Mayfield down from behind. So again, just because he's big doesn't mean he isn't fast. You see that multiple Carolina players downfield also have a chance, but Mayfield scrambles out. Rachaad White gives a good block. He actually got hurt on that play, but they're giving it their all at this point. Mayfield looking like he's dealing with multiple injuries at this point because his leg got banged up as well. Still able to rush forward, pick up the 1st down. They eventually got a field goal on that, which just gave them, the 9-point cushion just feels a lot better than 6 points, doesn't it? And Rachaad White did go back into the game. We saw Panthers actually scored a touchdown, but it got called back due to a penalty. Second play that was ruled a touchdown on the field and eventually called back. One was a penalty. The other was obviously the fumble that happened. And then the Tampa Bay puts a good drive together at the end, kills a lot of the clock there, and they go to the playoffs, which is, hey, I, for the life of me, just do not understand some of these people saying, do you even want to go to the playoffs? What are you going to do once you get there? You're going to play in a playoff game. That's what you're going to do, where you have a chance to technically win. Listen, if Mac Jones can beat the Bills, the Buccaneers have a chance against the Eagles, right? That's how I view all of this. Obviously, if Baker Mayfield's injured, they don't have a chance. That's just, it is what it is. But even if that's it, even if this is as far as this season goes, it's a fun season. I remember from 2008 to 2019, over 10 years, not making the playoffs year after year after year. I'm not about to turn down an opportunity to watch my team play in the playoffs. I'm excited about it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.